All right, today we're going to dive into the incredible story of one of football's most electrifying talents, Jérémy Doku. Seriously, it's a journey that kicks off on the concrete streets of Belgium and goes all the way to the absolute peak of English football.
And you gotta understand, this wasn't just some casual dream for him. This quote right here from Doku himself, it really sets the stage for everything. It's about focus, it's about patience, and it's just unshakable belief that this was his destiny.
So his story starts in Antwerp. He was born to Ghanaian parents, and you can just picture it. The family living room was basically his first stadium. He, his dad, and his brother would all gather around to watch highlights from the English Premier League. That's where the seed was planted. But the skills? Those were sharpened out on the streets, where every single dribble against your friends felt like the most important thing in the world.
And you know, those street games really created the player he became, the explosive winger. The thing about Doku is, he's not just fast, he's absolutely fearless. His whole style is built on just taking players on, one-on-one with this raw, kind of unpredictable energy that can just tear a defense apart.
Okay, so get this. At just 15 years old, Doku comes to this massive fork in the road, a decision that would literally shape his entire career. This was the first huge test.
And the choice was just immense. I mean, on one side, you have Liverpool, one of the biggest clubs on the planet, calling your name. We're talking instant hype, prestige, the whole deal. And on the other side, the familiar comfort of his home club, Anderlecht. The chance to grow without all that crazy pressure and, just play ball with his friends. Can you imagine having to make that choice at 15?
Well, right at this crucial moment, a Belgian legend stepped in. Romelu Lukaku, who came up through that same Anderlecht academy, actually recorded a video message for Doku, and his advice was crystal clear. Don't rush it. Build your foundation here at home, get good, and trust me, the big clubs will still be there waiting for you. What a powerful message from someone who'd walked that exact same path.
And this is where you just see the wisdom beyond his years. Doku's logic was so simple, yet so brilliant. He basically said, look, if I'm good enough for Liverpool now, I'll be good enough for them later. To him, enjoying the game and having fun with his buddies was what mattered most. He chose the patient path.
And wow, did that decision pay off? Check this out. Boom. At 16, he makes his professional debut. By 17, he's already scoring his first goal. And at just 18, he's scoring for the Belgian national team. This timeline just shows this perfect, steady climb. He didn't just develop, he absolutely thrived, proving to everyone he made the right call.
So after pretty much conquering Belgium, Doku was ready for that next step. And he took a big leap, moving to the super competitive French league to join Rennes. This was going to be a real proving ground.
And the pressure hit him immediately. Rennes made him their most expensive signing in club history, so now he's just 18 years old in a new country, trying to learn a new language with this massive price tag hanging right over his head. The expectations were just enormous. And yeah, that period was tough. Really tough. He had trouble adapting at first, and then the injuries started piling up. It got so bad that in one season, he only made 14 league appearances. For a young guy whose whole game is built on explosive movement, being stuck on the sidelines like that is just mentally crushing. This was the point where his whole journey could have just stalled out.
But it didn't. He fought back, hard. In the 2022-23 season, he didn't just come back, he came back and dominated. They gave him the iconic number 10 shirt, he became a key starter, and he started producing these unbelievable moments, like scoring 2 goals in a game twice. And he even had this breathtaking solo run from his own half. He didn't just get over the adversity, he used it as fuel and became an even better player.
And all of that hard work, all that resilience, it paid off. His performances in France put him right back on the map for Europe's top clubs, and it led to the moment his childhood dream was finally going to come true. He was moving to England.
And what a move it was. We're talking Manchester City, the reigning champions, shelling out a massive £55 million for him. The stakes were suddenly higher than they had ever been. He wasn't just joining the Premier League, he was joining the best team in the Premier League.
You know, it really didn't take him long to make his mark. Early in that first season, he put on a performance that was so dominant, so completely explosive, it sent shockwaves through the entire league. That was the day everyone really understood what Man City had on their hands.
Okay, check this out. In one single game, he scored a goal, he assisted on 4 more.
That is 5 goal involvements, and in doing so, he became the youngest player in the entire history of the Premier League to pull that off. It was an absolute masterclass.
You know, coming from Pep Guardiola, a guy who's coached literally the greatest players of our generation, this is the highest praise you can get. When a manager like him admits he was surprised by how good you were, you know you've done something truly special. Doku didn't just fit in. He brought something totally new and unpredictable to the best attack in the world.
And the numbers back up just how unique he is. In one game against Liverpool, he completed 13 successful dribbles. To put that in perspective, an average winger might get 3. Even an elite one might hit 6. He more than doubled that. Statistically speaking, he is an absolute nightmare for defenders. He's just in a class all by himself.
And what was the end result of all this? The ultimate prize. That dream he had as a little kid watching Match of the Day in his living room in Antwerp, it became real. In his very first season, he lifted the Premier League trophy.
So, what's the big takeaway from this incredible story? Well, let's try to break his journey down into something we can call the Doku blueprint.
Because his career isn't just a story about raw talent, right? It's really about the smart choices he made, the tough challenges he stared down, and the mindset he kept through it all.
The blueprint is actually pretty simple. First, trust the process, just like he did at 15 when he turned down the bright lights to stay at Anderlecht. Second, you have to embrace the setbacks. His tough time in France didn't break him. It just made him stronger. And finally, number 3, stay grounded.
Because through all the success, the big money transfers, and the shiny trophies, he's never once lost sight of his roots, his family, his Ghanaian heritage, his beginnings in Antwerp. He credits all of that for making him the player and the person he is today.
And really, that just leaves us with this one thought. The guy is already a Premier League champion. He has achieved the one goal he set for himself as a little kid. So for a player this talented, this resilient, and this driven, the really exciting question is, what's next?